Hello everyone, my name is Gladys Rabuhemba, PR lead at BrighterMonday Uganda. I am here on a special interview for Africa Day with the ambassador, Rosa Malango. Rosa Malango, please introduce yourself.
Thank you very much. It's a delight. Welcome to the Tumaini African Knowledge Center for Africa Day. Yes, my name is Ambassador Rosa Malango, and I'm delighted to be part of this interview today.
What is Tumaini African Knowledge Center about?
So, first I should say that I'm grateful to God for an almost 30-year career around the world with the United Nations. I worked in humanitarian work, development, and I ended up in the political side, serving the highest rank as Representative Secretary General, and accredited to the head of state of the ambassadorial rank. So grateful for the career, grateful for everybody who made the career possible. But now really, really excited about this new phase that I've begun. So I relocated with my family from New York to Uganda, my kids, my elderly mom, and all my assets. And the idea was to be part of the solutions at the forefront of Africa, based in Uganda, which is basically almost at the epicenter of the continent. So at Tumaini, what are we? We are a learning space. We are a solution space. We strongly believe in the Ubuntu Mulamo values, so a values-based approach to business, to solutions, to mindset change, and we make sure that we try to manifest that in everything we do. So when we market Uganda as an investment destination to high net worth partners, we highlight the fact that Uganda has a strong heritage. We highlight the opportunities in Uganda, and we make sure that we bring investors who are willing to share their technology, their knowledge, and create jobs. We work a lot with women and youth. Africa, I believe, is the youngest continent in the world right now. Uganda must be like the second youngest country around the world. So we work with them in terms of how can they engage with international partners. So how do you pitch? How do you communicate? How do you advertise your product? How do you mobilize investment? And then last but not least, because we believe in the values, we have a whole mindset change, merchandising around Ubuntu Mulamo values, I love Uganda, made in Uganda, really trying to promote the African heritage in your day-to-day items, in corporate gifts, or in means of transport.
I guess you've answered my question also, in terms of Africa Day, in your opinion, how is your center building resilience education systems for increased access to inclusive, lifelong quality and relevant learning?
Lord have mercy. What does that actually mean? Okay, so I think, number one, I want to thank those who actually demarcated this day as African Day. I think it's important to have as a day to celebrate our heritage, the achievements and opportunities. But I also think it's very important to make sure that in doing so, the themes are accessible. There is a test I always used to do with my staff and colleagues, and I would ask them, if you say this sentence, would your grandmother understand it? So if you told your grandmother that theme, would she understand it? So we need to make a theme that is easy for people to discuss in schools, to discuss at homes, to discuss in the cultural institutions. So what kind of Africans do we want to educate for the 21st century and beyond? If that is the question, then yes, I will say that we are part of the conversation. We recently participated in the National Career Guidance Day in Uganda, where we had a dialogue with parents about the need to have an open mind of the kind of careers that their kids want to have. We had a discussion with the young people. I asked them, how many of them have thought about being a robotics engineer? How many of them have thought about being a drone pilot? I know you can only have so many doctors and lawyers and members of parliament. If this economy has to grow, then we need to have diversified people in it. That means the type of learning that we allow our kids to have and to follow their heart from a young age. So what type of learning are we giving to teach them as citizens, to teach them to be entrepreneurs, and to teach them to be successful people as we go forward?
I can see some people's chest tightening because, in our culture, there are those things of the marketable jobs, which is the lawyers, the doctors, and things like that. So now you're encouraging more of the creativity side and this side. And what remark would you have for that? Is there such a thing as a marketable job?
Well, that was going to be my question. What do we mean by marketable? Something that was marketable in the 80s may not be marketable today. Again, let's go back. What type of economies do our countries have, and what type of economies do they want to have? Let's look at Uganda, second youngest in the world, interlinked in terms of logistics. You can do here e-mobility, you can do here agro-industrialization, you can do here UAVs, you can do all of that. If you do that, who is going to be the engineer? Who's going to be the technician? Who is going to be the maintenance guy? Who is going to manage the infrastructure for the charging? So all of those are new jobs. Let's look at the fact that Uganda, in terms of sports, so many times you wake up and you hear Uganda won an award here, they won an award there. But then when those people come back home, what happens? Where are the academies to support them? Where is the value chain in support of sports? So by now, we need to be making more uniforms locally. We need to be having more sports places locally. We need to make it easier for schools to have tournaments across. We need to have specialized transportation, more school buses for our kids to be able to go to sports. All of those are careers because this is an emerging economy. So marketable is what we make marketable. But where we are going and towards the 21st century and beyond, we need to be able to allow our kids to fill in those new up-and-coming jobs. Otherwise, somebody else will.
Very true. And actually, you've answered my question. What role can us as individuals or as a community do to live up to the Africa Day theme? I will not repeat it.
Educating an African for the 21st century and beyond.
Yes.
Yeah,
and
no.
let's just concentrate on the educate an African fit for the 21st century.
Again, individual and shared responsibility. So each one of us, whether you're an uncle, you're an aunt, you're a friend, you're a parent, or you're a grandparent, at some point you're exposed to kids and young people. How do you use that time with them? What do you teach them? Do you teach them about the history? Do you teach them about indigenous knowledge? Do you teach them about what it means to be a good citizen? So the learning happens throughout the cycle of life. It starts at home. It happens in the community centers. It happens when you go to your cultural kingdom events. It happens at the sports events. It happens at school. It happens at work. So no matter where we are, everywhere is a teachable moment if we see it as such.
I guess we first have to trust ourselves. And in order to build something, we first have to trust ourselves, our community. Is it something like that?
Well, I don't know if it's about trust. I always use the word embrace. It's not so much about trusting, it's embracing who I am and embracing my heritage and embracing the culture that comes with it. So if we embrace who we are, we will embrace the fact that we live in a country where you have snow-peaked mountains and you have a desert and you have a savanna. And you will embrace the fact that we can grow the food basket for the continent in this country. And one of our biggest challenges is how do we process and distribute this food in a fresh way to markets around the world. And by the way, that's another career right there, self-transportation of food. So if we embrace who we are, then every moment is a learning moment. And the way we pursue prosperity will be inclusive and will be balanced with nature.
Any last remark would you like to give to our viewers for this day?
Yes. When I told some of my friends that I was resigning from the United Nations and leaving the U.S. to come to Uganda, some people thought I was mad. Best decision I ever made. We were told my mom had 6 months to live last year, and she has done a full recovery. She's at peace. She's happy. I'm doing work that changes lives. So my message is to anybody else who may be thinking about starting a new phase in their life, come home. Come back to the African continent, come to Uganda, come wherever you want to come and settle, change lives, create jobs, embrace your African heritage, and let's be part of the prosperity movement. To other global citizens or just to Africans on the continent, let's embrace who we are. Nobody said it would be easy, but it's not easy for anybody else. So let's embrace the challenging and the diversity and the beauty of what it means to be an African or someone of African descent. Let's not look down on it. Our history is amazing. Our history is important, and our achievements are impressive if we recognize them.
And that's how we live up to the theme of Africa Day.
Yes.
Happy Africa Day,
Happy,
Ambassador.
happy Africa Day to you.